Sega.
Hello, I'm Kieran Brigden, the Studio Communications Manager for the Creative Assembly. Today we're going to show you a ninja assassination movie on the campaign map of Shogun 2 Total War. So you can see here we have one of our provinces and cities selected. We're going to choose the ninja agent and move him out of the town. The ninja is one of many agent types available, and his primary function is the assassination of enemy figures. So we're going to send him in now and have him kill the enemy general in charge of the army. So you can see here the assassination attempt has been successful, the enemy general has been killed, and now nobody leads the enemy army. Our own ninja also levels up, assuming his next skill rank, and is moved safely away from the scene of the crime. The campaign map now also rotates in full 3D.
Beauty and harmony, governed by one eternal law. All that begins must end. The reign of the old shogunate is over.
So Total War is a 10-year-old series of strategy games on PC. It's a combination of real-time and turn-based strategy set in the absolute height of samurai warfare. So the game at the moment we're focusing on is Shogun 2, and that takes place in the what's called the Sengoku Jedi or Warring States period of Japan, where the old shogunate has crumbled and a number of new families have emerged to kind of like compete for this this title of Shogun of all Japan. And we kind of thrust the player into the shoes of one of these smaller clans and see if they can forge an empire and forge a destiny across all of Japan. Total War is a very kind of long-running PC strategy series. We've always focused on individual areas of history and tried to kind of bring those to life in as much depth and realism as we can. We're probably most famous for our huge kind of cinematic scale battles, so you know, kind of thousands and thousands of troops smashing into each other on the battlefield and these kind of really big movie-style moments in battle. That's kind of our hallmark on the battle side, but we also have this kind of extremely in-depth and immersive kind of turn-based campaign mode as well, which is the real kind of backbone of the game. This is where you'll really administer and develop your empire and grow it out over all Japan and the islands. So it's kind of a fusion of those two things. So you've got a kind of a Civ style campaign map, and at the same time you have a more classic RTS style live action battles things. So you have a very small start. You've literally got to look after a single town almost and its people, and you'll have a small number of units to play with, and literally a very limited agent tree to kind of look after. As you very slowly develop your empire out over time, you become more aggressive or you become more diplomatic, you'll get access to more and more troops, different types of technologies, larger armies. So you really kind of learn to walk before you run. And then when you're kind of in the kind of mid to late stages of the game, you're commanding these huge armies against these other massive, well-established factions. And there's a real sense of kind of, a war between two very, very large powers. Shogun 2 features a number of different battle types. So when you're kind of commanding your armies on the campaign map and you send them into a given location, you then get a zoom down and a chance to actually fight this battle in real time. The one type of battle you can fight is your classic land battle. Now this will take place in a kind of piece of geography very similar to where you are on the campaign map, and you'll have to command a set army that you go into battle with. There's no base building, there's no resource gathering, it's all done by kind of commanding these like single set armies on the field. It's a real test of strategy more than anything else. It's genuinely tactical. You've then got kind of your siege battles, and this is an area we've really worked on for Shogun 2. So we have a large number of castle types in the game, so castles that are built on flat land, castles built into the coast, and literally castles built into mountainsides. All of these can be upgraded multiple times by the owner so that they can become these huge kind of mountainside, Dr. Evil fortresses almost, and you then have to siege them with your troops. And then finally, of course, we have a lot more innovation on the naval side as well. So we've kind of combined a land element into the naval battles now. So you actually have these kind of coastal battles where these small kind of numbers of ships are fighting one another, and you're kind of navigating all these shoals and reefs and rocks and beaches. It's a really huge game. In a way it's kind of 4 games in one. You've got siege battles, land battles, naval battles, and of course the mainstay, which is the campaign game. And all of these things, like I say, to command and control them, it's very simple. We've literally got almost an MS Paint style interface. You just left click on the unit to select it, and then right click it somewhere to tell it to go, or give it an order, or indeed hold down the right mouse button and just kind of paint it into a formation. On the campaign map, for the first time this time around in Shogun 2, we've actually given all of the different kind of agent types an RPG kind of gameplay, as well as the kind of standard usage that they've got. So they now have their own skill trees and XP systems. You can specialize them in one of a number of different ways, and each character class has a different skill tree that you can take it down in different directions. Every type of individual agent, with his own XP and skill tree, also has his opposite, the thing that works best in neutralizing him or her on the campaign map. So the idea there is to give a real sense of, like I say, story and a sense of characterization, so you feel much more attached to your characters. You grow them over time, you specialize them in a certain way, you come to rely on them for certain activities, and as a result, like I say, we hope that kind of players will form much more of a bond with the kind of agents that they've got, making them feel a lot more realistic on the campaign map. Well, for the fans, there's 3 key areas I'd really like to kind of address for the people who play Total War games very regularly. One is AI. We're paying a lot of attention to AI this time around to make sure it's a genuine challenge on the battlefield and a genuine challenge on the campaign map. So that's a real area of focus for us this time. The second thing is siege battles. It's something we've been requested a lot from the community, to take a look at the siege battles and make them work. The great thing about doing the Japanese era is that they give us a lot more options for the siege battles. We can do some much more interesting stuff with them. So that's going to be a really cool part of the game. And finally, we've got some pretty big plans for the multiplayer aspect as well, so I'd kind of keep your eyes peeled for that. I can't really say too much about it at this stage because we've got quite a lot of testing to do to see if it works, but I will say it's got something to do with kind of scaling things up quite a lot. Shogun 2 Total War on PC, and it's out in early 2011.